which is quite a nice one. I'll take the one away for now. This is quite a nice formation here in Amakhala. This is a very, how do I say, this is the most common rock type that we have here in Amakhala. This is called shale. Now, this particular one is called pebble shale. And you can see how domed it is over here. Yes, it's broken on the side there and it's broken on the back, but it's generally domed like this. And it's because it's been in the river for a long time and it's been rolling and rolling and rolling and takes on this round sort of formation. Okay, so this is called chert. Take a look at this. It's quite soft. This one is a little bit hard, but generally chert is quite soft. Okay, it's also known as soapstone. Many of you will be familiar with that. And the way that this forms, it's an oceanic formation. Now, chert, it's formed chemically from the ocean floor, and yeah, so under the right conditions, the chert, sort of the chemicals ooze out the ocean floor, and then under the right conditions, they settle somewhere, and then it solidifies slightly, and it forms the crust in the ocean floor, and that is known as chert or soapstone.
Sharing the wilderness with family, both here and around the world, is a tremendous privilege. There's been some enthralling wildlife, some shenanigans behind the scenes, all in the quest for the perfect safari, if indeed there is such a thing. Nature is about so much more than sightings. It's about stories, connecting, and finding joy. Thank you for being with us.
Of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
And welcome to your Sunset Safari. It is great to have you on board with us. My name is Amy, and behind the camera with me is, of course, Mpho, and we are coming to you live right here in the African bush in the Sabi Sand. Now, this morning, we had a fantastic end to our drive, finding little Miss Rulani. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I think that hyena there was some nyalas alarming that spotted her, and this hyena came in. Wow. Forward. Okay. Oh. Off it goes. Off it goes. Good girl. Good girl. Definitely sniffing where that hyena was. Well, what a great sighting it was. Now, of course, I am not the only one who is out on safari this afternoon. We also have Imara up in East Africa and Eric, who is at Mabula with us. And this afternoon, I'm not sure what we have to expect. We, of course, are going to follow up here where we are to check if there are any signs of that leopard that we had this morning. Otherwise, if not, we'll circle back around. She may be resting in some shade at the moment. It is quite warm out, and then come back a little bit later when she might be on the move. I'm also still hoping to see some zebra this afternoon for my last drive, and maybe some wild dogs. While we hop back in the car and keep going, let's send you over to Eric to find out what his plans are.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. My name is Eric, joined by Luyanda and Hepo at the very back there. And you're live with us here at the Mabula Private Game Reserve, where the sun is shining down at us. It's lovely and warm, and well, this afternoon we are going to be out and about looking for whatever it is that we can find in this beautiful area. We'll stop by some water holes because it's very warm, like I said, and hopefully there'll be something around the water holes, and then I think we'll head from the water holes to the open plains, and from the open plains maybe to the mountains. Who knows what might happen. Anything could happen here in Mabula on such a lovely day. There seem to be an awful lot of warthogs around today, an awful lot, and I don't blame them, but none of them seem to be covered in mud. So it's hot enough for them to be everywhere, but not hot enough to be covered in mud, as obviously warthogs do struggle a little bit with cooling down because they don't have pores that they can sweat through, so they have to cover themselves in mud in order to keep themselves nice and cool. So rather interesting. And obviously if the warthogs aren't covering themselves in mud, neither will the elephants, neither will the buffalo, and neither really will the rhinos, although they might do so just to help protect their skin as opposed to cooling themselves down. So there's many reasons why an animal would actually wade into the mud and completely lather themselves up. But who doesn't like to see an elephant covered in mud or a buffalo dripping with mud? But we're sending you over to Mara to find out how she is doing and what the plans are for the day.
It's always nice to start off with the water, and I know it gets really hot, so going to a body of water, always a great start. We're out here in Masai Mara, and I want us to get up if you're able to do so, if you have some space at home. If not, just try to join me. I'm going to do something called the Big Five dance. It's something I want to create for you guys instead of just the usual dancing. We're going to do the Big Five dance. So this is the lion because of the mane, elephant, the big ears, rhino, big horn, leopard, and then we have the buffaloes. Okay, so lion, elephant, rhino, buffalo if I switched it up, and then leopard. So sometimes we'll be trying to switch it up, so if you guys are able to keep up, I'm gonna go in the same order as the first one. So we'll try it one more time, and here we go. Lion, elephant, rhino, leopard, buffalo. Okay, so buffalo, leopard, elephant, rhino, lion. Okay guys, so hopefully we'll be trying to do more of the Big Five dance, something to get us up and active, and hopefully this dance brings us the Big Five too. We're gonna send you over to Amy.
Ooh, Imara, nothing, it comes to mind off the top of my head. I think the dance that I always think of when it comes to sharing dances is the dance of the red-crested kohan with the shoulders. That one is an absolute classic. And I don't know if we have that highlight of that red-crested kohan sighting that we had here. Still remember it was on Cheetah Cut Line. And when you see that male do his little shoulder movement to try and impress the ladies, or lady should I say, it really is all in the shoulders for him. Hammerkop shuffle is another one. That's a classic. We watched a hammerkop doing its shuffle the other day. Just driving very slowly here and checking everyone. Checking trees. She might have caught something and hoisted it. This leopard, but also tracks, which is something that we just have to drive slowly to check. And also here on the boundary, those are hyenas. Luckily on a boundary it's quite nice. There's a lot of road, there's a lot of, although vehicles use it a lot, so tracks can be easily driven over. There's enough space, there's enough width to maybe, if she did cross north, then we would know. Oh, Dark Main Lover, it is great to have you with us as well, really. Looking forward to the afternoon and potentially finding some cats. That would be awesome. And it's always exciting coming out knowing that we had one in this area. Oh, there's a steenbok. Let me see if we can show it to you. They don't often stay around very long, but this is the kind of thing. You see it there. It might very well blast off very quickly, but it's the kind of thing that Rolani might be looking for. You can see it's got little horns on top of the head there, meaning that it is a male steenbok. Oh, look at that. It is near one of the main roads, meaning that it might be quite used to the cars. And also coming out here for those green shoots. They might like that, a few leaves and things as well. Well, this is rather a surprise. I was hoping for this. Oh, there is a vehicle coming past, but that's all right. Hopefully it'll just move past. Often something moving is a lot better than if it stops for these little antelope. Vicky, there are a lot of similarities between them. Steenboks are smaller and they're also a different color. There are similarities in many ways with them being more, they don't, occur in herds or groups, mainly monogamous pairs, and then, if they have offspring. But you can just see that this one is like a light brown, almost a similar color to an impala, I suppose one would say. Whereas a duiker, generally also known as a grey duiker, is more of a greyish color. But in some areas, like I've seen them at Addo before in the Eastern Cape, it's more like a reddish, light brown. Now, with this male being here, I would think there might be a female close by. Sometimes they are, but you just can't see the other one. Ooh, Leanne, I'm not actually sure. That's a good question. We'll have to get a comparison maybe in terms of weight between the two to actually see which one is the larger. I've never seen a dik-dik. That's definitely on the list to see though. How awesome is this steenbok sighting? You can see how it is alert. Its ears are constantly moving. Its head, oh my word, it's actually coming closer to us. That is so cool. Yeah, Efren, good afternoon.
Where did you leave that little Lonnie?
So I left her with Ali, moving west from back door. But he was with her last, so I'll wait for him to get out to see exactly where he left her.
So you're in the area at the moment,
Yeah, I'm on Gowrie Main now. I came up Elephant Tusk.
Yeah, copy. I'm going to come down one night here now.
Copy. Okay, well, a little while ago, Kerry had a highlight of a dik-dik up in the Mara, so have a quick look at that.
Very exciting. Oh, I'm not exactly sure on which species of dik-dik it is. I think it could be one of the Kirk's dik-diks, possibly.
Well, there we go. So it does seem like they look quite a bit smaller than a steenbok to me. Hello, a little bit of grooming there. I think this is probably one of the most relaxed steenboks we've ever had. It does happen from time to time where you've got a relaxed little antelope like this, because I think of being next to one of the main roads and they're just used to the movement. It is moving further away from us now, deeper into this burnt area. Okay, well, from this little steenbok, we are going to send you over to Eric to see if there's any steenbok you can see in Mabula.
Wow, we are crossing over the Ngulubi Dam, and doesn't seem to be much going on here. Some kingfisher did fly away there, but well, seems not going to stay. And the crocodiles are not quite out and about. Hippos, I can't actually see any hippos. They seem to be out. Anyway, we're going to move on to Hunter's Dam, see if there's anything there. Hunter's Dam, main dam, rain meter. It's great around there. Now, there were lots of carcasses around rain meter plains. Was it yesterday? Day before yesterday? Day before yesterday. So I imagine they're all pretty cleaned off. The one carcass we saw, there was absolutely nothing. There was nothing left on it. And it's quite interesting. It's either whoever killed it, I suspect it was the wild dogs. Whoever killed it must have done it either during the evening before, or it was pretty early in the morning, because they were nowhere near, I wouldn't say they were nowhere near, they were actually the closest predator to that particular area, other than Queen, but Queen didn't have a full belly apparently, so it couldn't have been her. But also, we know that if it was her, she would have actually stayed in that area, because we know by obviously experience, by spending time with Queen, she's stayed with her carcasses. If she's made them in the morning, even like before now, she's sure. Can you see that? Or is it too many sticks? That is insane. We're going to send you over to Imara while we try and find a position so we can show you something rather interesting.
Hope you get some good luck, Eric. And we are here with some elephants who will also send you some good luck. The marsh area is just the best place to come when it's quite hot, because this is what we get to see. We're blessed with the elephants coming here for the grass, the reeds, the water, wallowing. it is just a great spot. And I like to think of it as a reunion area because you have different herds that come from different locations, because all of them sometimes split up going in all directions. And when they come here, they can kind of meet up, catch up, know what's going on in different parts of the Masai Mara. The young ones can get to mingle, get to see some maybe distant relatives or new friends. And it's always really, really nice. And can see some youngsters right there. Of course, the youngest one being the one on the right. Tusks have come in nicely, but it's quite short, honestly. Maybe the tusks came in a bit early because they're supposed to be 2 years of age when the tusks come in. So that actually is quite interesting, because look at that tusk with the young one on the right and then compare with the one on the left. That is actually very, very interesting, huh? Really, because it's so small, so maybe it's a bit of a shorter elephant. There's some elephants, even the females, as they get older and of course, they still continue growing, they're not going to be really, really big. And then you have other females who are very big. I'm not assuming it's a female, but usually females are much smaller than the males. So that's what I'm wondering, either this tusk came in quite early, or our elephant is just gonna be a shorty like the other lioness who I thought had really short legs, and I hope we get to see her again sometime. You can see how busy they are, ripping the grass, swinging it around, making sure that the soil is off the roots, and sometimes even cut off the roots. And I love the tree lines right there in the marsh. It's like its own forest actually in the marsh area, and I'll try to head to that section. It's also where we got to see our fish eagles yesterday, and I do highly suspect they might have a nest, or this is their territory. And in that marsh area, it does look like it's just flat ground and reeds growing, but there is like water and fish and hippo sometimes out there. Pistuia, yes, a lot of different animals hang out with elephants. The most popular one is the cattle egret, because they do benefit from the elephant moving around and disturbing the grass and all the insects jumping about. And sometimes you see, most of the time it's just that elephants don't like to be around other animals as much. Even yesterday we got to see when the buffaloes were with the elephants, and some elephants were actually giving them a good, please give me personal space, until they gave up. There were too many buffaloes and they were overwhelmed with the numbers. And I apparently hear that they don't like wildebeests too. I think the elephants find them a bit too noisy. But the one that loves to hang out with elephants are the cattle egrets, and the elephants don't mind them at all. Oh, I think I had some fish eagles in the background. So most of the time when you see the ellies like to be with themselves, but the cattle egrets are very good friends of them. And you can see how the sun is hitting the background. It always looks like a painting. She's flapping her ears, cooling off a little bit, but also by the look of her coat, like her skin, looks like there was a bit of wallowing earlier on, maybe around midday, 1-2 p.m., because she does look like she did at least go through some water or had some water on her back spraying through the trunk. And the wrinkles do help with keeping a bit of more moisture on the skin for a bit of longer time. So every part of the animal's body, when you look at different animals, they all have a purpose. You'll see the tail swinging, the flies, of course. Even sometimes when communications with the young ones, they'll do that and their young one is behind them. And as long as they feel the young one, as the tail swings, they know my baby is next to me and following. And those strong teeth, of course, doing the good job of grinding their vegetation. As elephants have poor digestion, hippos don't. So we're going to go take a look at some hippos and see how they're doing.
Well, there you can see a perfectly clear sky with the sun in the top right-hand corner. And maybe a little bit of haziness, and the mountains of Mapula, where the dog-eat-dogs and the elephants tend to hide. And as we slowly start to look around, some other animals can be seen And it looks like they are resting on the banks of the Ngulubi River, not the Ngulubi River, the Ngulubi Dam. Although that particular part of the dam does look a little bit like a river. But can you see how many hippos there are? There's a little baby on the far left-hand side. There must be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hippos. I think maybe 11 with another one hiding behind the grass there. But we're wondering where all the hippos of Mabula have gone, and it seems this is where they are.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website.
When the Mara turns green, life surges, the air hums, the earth stirs, and the wild comes alive. Here, the wonder never ends. It just changes color. Every storm, every sunrise, every sweeping vista is an expression of wild magic. Visit the Masai Mara. Experience the magic.
I think basically he wants the hyena away from him.
This is unusual habitat for cheetah to hunt in.
We go, some more elephants are coming. It's an elephant party.
We know that adverts pay our bills, but you don't necessarily like them. So, this is a fantastic way to stop being interrupted. Sign up today and you'll get instant access to wildlife. 24/7, ad-free, live and on demand. No pesky commercials, no rude interruptions, just wild Africa exactly as it unfolds. Wild Earth Explorers, wilder together.
For them, it's kind of it's a lot of in and out of the water. So they spend their nights out the water, feeding on the grass, and then when it's time, they head back to the water for the early hours of the morning, and then when it warms up, they come out. They lie on the banks. Mostly only during winter time, not in the summertime, and then they go back into the water when it gets a little bit colder, and then come out at night time again when they start eating. Pam, no. So hippos very, very sensitive skin, but also very moist skin. If they stay too long out of the water, they get what we call pink sweats, and pink sweats obviously is they basically start sweating a lot of their pigment out of their skin, which does become a bit of a problem, especially when we live in such a harsh area with the sun baking down on them. In summertime, it's so bad, which is why we don't really see this behavior in the summertime, because it's just so hot. Obviously they spend so much time in the water in summer, and then obviously in the wintertime. So wintertime out the water. If they spend too much time out the water, their skin, I don't know if you've ever seen, okay, it doesn't really look like that, but if you've ever seen like a dam that has no water in it, the mud starts to crack once it starts to get quite dry. The same thing generally will happen to hippos if they spend too much time out of the water, and the skin will start to part, which will then expose a lot of the flesh. And they go back into the water, where there can be all sorts of bad little insects that might crawl in between those cracks, but as well as, they also defecate in the water. Fish defecate in the water, crocodiles defecate in the water, and a whole lot of other animals. So there can be a lot of sort of things that can go into their skin that they don't want, that can cause infection, and that in turn can actually be quite harmful for the hippo. But here, they won't move. They've probably been here since, I would say, maybe 9 o'clock, maybe even before that. Say between 8:30 and 10. I think that's when they would have more or less moved up. This morning we actually saw one of the hippos just further up, returning to the dam, very late from its feeding, which most likely took place in between here and Manukam Plains. Jeffrey, I did a rough count. There could be more sort of behind the bushes, and also I think we can just see the water. Here, there's another one. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There could be another 2 somewhere around here too, behind that bush or behind that thicket. 12 maybe on the corner, 13. There could be even more actually. And then there's also a couple of hippos down by the Mvubu Dam, and I'm sure they're also out the water. Should something walk down there, like a giraffe or a rhino or a buffalo, and the hippos don't know what it is, they'll be in that water so quickly. They'll be up and in. But we're going to send you over to Amy, see what's happening on her side.
Yeah, well, we're still on the search here. There's a few of the vehicles that have joined us in the area, which is always helpful. And when we last had her, she was walking parallel to us on the other side of the drainage line doing some scent marking. And then she went up and crossed over there. But apparently there are some fresher tracks down south. But with leopards, you never know. So this is the person I've been waiting to hear to get out.
I just want to find out, this morning you said you left for
Okay, well, earlier I was talking about the shoulder movement of the red-crested korhaan. Let's go have a look at that highlight now. That goes. It's doing its full display. I heard it calling, and then I just saw this thing walking across the road, and it had a completely different silhouette. Oh my gosh, my heart's beating so fast. Look, it's going down. It's just the wind. That was incredible. This is the second time in my life that I've ever seen this, and never so out in the open. Well, there it was. What an awesome sighting with that red-crested korhaan. And it really was the first time, not the first time that I had seen the crest, but definitely the first time that I had seen the full display from start to end, and then seeing it actually move into the presence of a female and do that little red-crested korhaan dance or shoulder shuffle. Then now whenever I think of a little dance, it's all in the shoulders. I am driving along here, and just checking very carefully, everyone, because I know that this leopard was moving in this area, and we just don't want to miss anything. But also not only to be looking on the ground, but not forgetting to look up, because next thing we're so focused on trying to find tracks that she's in the tree right next to us or something like that. So she came. Okay, there are some tracks. vehicle tracks here. We know that there was a lot of movement off-road as well, which is also helpful. And she came out here and we followed her for a bit this way on the road. There should be leopard tracks on the road from this morning. But it looked like she was really interested in trying to find some food, so I'm really hoping that she has done that. I'm sure she's definitely eaten since last week. We know that the last time that we saw her with the kill, the lion actually took it from her. Yeah, Jalebi, I know. It is quite rare to see the full display. I'm just going to go straight here because I know a vehicle's just driven up this road. So I just want to check this little link between the two roads. Okay, and while we do that, let's send you over to Imara, who has some southern ground hornbills.
Let me check properly on that all solar panels in there. Looks like the track's cut into that block there towards...
Here we are with some southern ground hornbills, and also these guys are very good to look up on the trees, but most of the time actually down on the ground. Oh, look at this, you're showing off for us, climbing up onto the termite mound. That was great timing. It's like it knew. It was like, guys, look at me, admire me, say I'm pretty. Well, you are very pretty. These birds are gorgeous. They're one of the biggest hornbills. And honestly, they are just gorgeous. Again, how many times can I say it? The eyelashes, amazing. And before it got onto the termite mound, it was going through some dung. So they are very good at picking out any insects that will be taking advantage of elephant dung, such as beetles and their larvae. And they mate for life. So usually do have one and the other is not too far behind. And it was nice because we were with them actually yesterday. I can hear our fish eagles somewhere. Don't worry, we'll still find them. They're not in the area. I think they went shopping to the river. Maybe the water here, the fish are not as much as they want at the moment. But these guys, their diet is kind of diverse actually. They're an apex predator bird. And carnivorous diet sometimes, you know, reptiles, amphibians, even mammals such as mice, rats. Young mongoose too, they gotta be careful. They have very powerful beaks. And again, I mentioned even yesterday, one of the most craziest sightings was actually, I don't know if it was this couple, because this was actually the same area. I was with David that time as come up, and it was a southern ground hornbill, two of them actually, devouring a terrapin. No, they don't really stay together for life. The pair does, male and female. But once they have their young ones, the young one will stick with them for quite some time. You'll see their plumage coming in the center of their face. It's not usually very vibrant red, as you can see right there. So the female has a bit of purple and the male all red. But they don't stick together for the whole time because once you're all grown up, you need to leave and go and do your own thing. Sorry, I was just trying to listen out. I was hearing an alarm call. There was something calling out, guys. I always like listening out, just in case. Steve D, yes, they are very interesting, very beautiful, and also their feet. I wish this area had more of like open ground. It is quite open, I'm not complaining, but they do have very fascinating toes at the back. It's very nice and loud today. I love it. That was a lapwing. Look at them, just going through, looking for whatever they'll find, and also seeing them even catching snakes is not unusual. And that's why even lapwings, they see them coming next to maybe where they're nesting, because lapwings tend to be on the ground with their nest and their egg. These guys are also very good at coming to take the eggs to eat it up. So if you ever see southern ground hornbills going towards, maybe they're seeing a bit of commotion with any type of lapwing, then you do know that there's an egg nearby and they are mobbing them, kind of like back off away from my eggs. I'm protecting my territory. Ooh, are you walking towards us? Now you can get a nice look of their face, the eyelashes. Oh, oh my gosh, that is a lilac-breasted roller mobbing the southern ground hornbill. Look at that. You see, the birds are very territorial too. I don't know why it's mobbing it all of a sudden. That was so random. Lilac, you don't have your eggs on the ground. That was pretty random, honestly. I think it was telling it just don't go to its tree, but you see, that's actually very wild. It's a very weird coincidence. Mentioning bird mobbing another bird, and then we get to see a lilac-breasted roller doing it. Wow, that was cool. Yeah, lilacs are very aggressive. They're beautiful birds, but quite aggressive. This seems to be the female. Yeah, I don't think a lot of birds are happy having them around, honestly. Now I'm hearing lapwings. Oh my gosh, guys, there's so much going on. Benji, well, these guys are good with eggs. Sorry, there's so much happening. James, I do trying to get the best. There was a lapwing actually kind of swooping down at this southern ground hornbill. One, if you have nests and young ones, you don't want an apex predator bird, which is the southern ground hornbill right here. Powerful, big size. It can even take the chicks and the eggs. So look at this. Hold on. Let's see this. They're not happy. They're not happy having this. You can hear it in the background, actually. Look at that. Phew. They're trying to mob these guys, trying to tell them to leave. Oh my gosh. It's moving so fast. Oh, nice, James. Get it, get it. So it looks like that's where they have maybe their egg, and they're like, stay away, guys. Please don't come over. So you can see they're just right here. How interesting is that? I love game drives. Honestly, it's just the best. So the hornbills are now welcomed here, but we saw them here yesterday. This is also like their home. You can still hear, those were actually the spur wing. No, that's a crown lapwing actually that was swooping in. Then we did have a spur wing, and then we had a lilac-breasted roller. So 3 different birds are not happy having our southern ground hornbills around here. And now you can even see a bit of the white feathers underneath. So when they fly, because they do fly, guys, I know we see them on the ground most of the time. They do prefer to be walking down because they have amazing legs. But you can see even the white feathers. So when you see them flying, you do see it from below. A bit of preening going on. I like this southern ground hornbill's attitude. It's a very much don't care. You can come and attack me, but I'm going to take care of my feathers. Sally, ooh, you're taking me back to story time again. As I mentioned, it was with David, and it was terrapin, actually. Sorry, I was forgetting what it was. It was a terrapin. And that's what I was wondering if it was this same couple. And the terrapin, I think, just was, wrong time, wrong place. And it was flipped upside down. So it was on its back. And they started picking through the side. And it was very, okay guys, even explaining it is tough. Why don't we show you? So we're going to check out the highlight of the southern ground hornbill versus terrapin.
Sorry. Look at that stab. It's just like an injection, a syringe, or playing a game we call that. Maybe the female is doing a lot better job than the male, and I'll not be surprised if the male comes and joins on this particular carcass of a marsh terrapin. But what Imara is trying to whisper to me, most likely this particular marsh terrapin is gone.
How interesting was that? And for me to be there to actually take and record that was wild. But look at this. Lapwings are not happy. The southern ground hornbills have gone to where they are, Look at them. Oh, guys, I don't get to see this often, honestly. They're not happy. Listen. They're not happy. Oh. So many bird sounds. How cool was that? Again, the southern ground hornbills, they don't care. They said, you guys do whatever you want to do. We're still going to move forward and look for your eggs or anything they'll find. Wow. Now, those are birds that are being very territorial. And the southern ground hornbill said, we're going to go deeper into the marsh. We're going to find what you're trying to hide from us. The one which was random was a lilac. I was like, lilac, why are you... The ones on the ground does make sense, but usually up on trees. And again, these guys can't fly. So maybe the lilac was like, yeah, just in case, I'm going to be on the safer side and just warn them. They kind of look like dinosaurs now, the more I think about it. Just walking through, terrifying other birds. Maka. Well, they are carnivorous and apex predators. So they are not like our eagles. They are quite different. But their diet is very similar. In the sense of, again, rodents and... But I don't think they would go for a baby warthog. That would be insane, actually. I don't want to rule it out. Again, nature is very weird. It's like hippos. There have been instances of hippos actually seen kind of munching on meat, but we know they're herbivores, so sometimes nature is very weird. I know they'll find something in this area. The spur-wing lapwings are not happy. Ah, that was lovely. I know it's tough for the ones who are protecting, but it's always nice just observing how animals are territorial, their tactics on protecting their territory, trying to keep everyone away. Our elephants at the back are just our background characters, and the southern ground hornbill looking so nice with the red is just poking out from the reeds. So I like coming to the marsh. There's always something going on. Wherever there's water, there's life. And where there's life, you'll always see a bit of drama and chaotic moments like this. And mentioning water is life, we hear that Eric is actually next to some water and some birds. Let's send you over and see what is happening.
Well, we've got an Egyptian goose on the dried sticks of the Hunter's Dam, and there's 3 of them. Is it an Egyptian goose? Yeah, it is. It's making sure, because sometimes the hardy does also sit there, but it is. There's 3 of them here. And we're just waiting for it to go for a bit of a swim with the rest of them. And they often can be seen sort of not roosting, but just resting on a spot, a way to sort of keep themselves safe. 1, because nothing's going that far into the water to go and try and catch them. 2, they can get their feathers nice and dry, and nice sort of lookout spot for when they can see intruders like other Egyptian geese making their way down to this particular dam. Egyptian geese can be very territorial about where they sit, or very territorial about their water space. Then, of course, we have some waterbuck that are feeding in the water, which is very cool to see. I haven't seen this very, very often. I used to see it in Amakhala in the early days of my sort of bush life, shall I say. Bushman's River was still flowing. So sort of back in 2015 and a little bit of 2016, one could see quite often actually waterbuck down by the river, sort of not quite bathing, but feeding on all the grasses. That's the best place for them to feed, basically, because there are lots of nice green shoots on these grasses because there's lots of water, so they're constantly growing. They feed on the reeds as well, and this is one of the reasons why we call them water buck, because they spend a lot of time around water, if not in it. They pretty good swimmers should they need to swim, but it's not something that they do fairly often. But they do it when they need to escape from predators, or they want to get from one side of the river to the other. Rebecca, indeed, this is special. This is special. I have not seen this in years. The last time I saw an animal in the water like this, that was a land-based animal, not a semi-aquatic animal like a crocodile or a hippo. It was a buffalo in the Isimangalisi wetland, which was very cool to see. And this thing was kind of sloshing around the water. But also, these animals tend to worry about crocodiles as well. There used to be a croc here, not a big one that could do damage to a waterbuck, but they usually are very wary about where they feed. So the water must be quite nice and clear that they can see a crocodile moving or masquerading as a tree stump, submerged. These are females, adult females. I'd say the one in front is slightly bigger, but still females nonetheless. There are some more that have just kind of dipped around the back of one of these sort of massive clumps of bushes here alongside the dam, potentially maybe looking for a little bit of shade, perhaps. This is a very cool scene. And now we've got an Egyptian goose in there as well. Maybe Egyptian goose might dive, jump. Go for a swim, man. Get in. Don't be shy. The water's warm, I think. We're going to send you over to Imara with a rather large bird, also found around the dams.
Keep the bird trend going on. Here we have the saddle-bill stork. It looks like it's kneeling, but it's known as a hawk sitting. So the ankle actually, rather than the knee, because the knee is actually farther up. So it is kind of looking like they're kneeling. So this is a resting position. And seems to be actually relaxed. Doesn't mind us at all. And I think I've been seeing these saddle bills around this area for a bit because they keep on flying around and I see them and I'm like, okay. I see that we have some saddle bills in the area, which is always nice because they are quite good looking. And again, not being too shy, we're able to observe them really nicely, see all the details. And this is a female, because look at the eyes. Oh, she blinked. Very golden yellow eyes. And the male usually have deep dark brown eyes. So I'm guessing that's the other one right there. Because yeah, this eye is looking very yellow actually. Am I right? Oh, you're closing your eyes open. No, I think that's the male, guys. Sorry, there's a wattle. That is the male. The female is the one who's standing. My bad. I should have known. The male always has something else added to it, a bit more color. Pistuia, isn't it? Today we're being blessed with a lot of birds. Look at that wattle. It's just like hanging nicely. So at first I think I got confused because the eyes. You always tell with the eye color. So right now the eyes are open and the eyes are very much brown in color. It's looking up. I won't tell you who is looking at because we're going to look at that bird later. I'm going to tell you, it's actually the African fish eagle flying around. But it's okay. We're going to see them later. But what I like about these guys is just how beautiful they are. And I'm just wondering if they will be having a nest around this area, because I have been seeing them around a lot. And yeah, it'd be nice to see some young saddle-billed storks around the area. Enjoy your resting period, guys, and take it easy.
Hi, I'm Cedric Dold, Wild Earth presenter and private guide. I'd love you to join me on safari. In September, I'll be at Valgevonden for a beautiful spring safari. And in November, I'll be tracking Wild Earth's famous leopards here in the Sabi Sands. Come and share the wildlife, the stories, and the adventure with me. Book now and let's go on safari.
Alright then, let me show you what you're missing. Our archive allows you to delve into the past, be it yesterday or many years ago. You can visit characters who've left us.
Doesn't ever get old.
This is, of course, the Little Prince, Hosanna, guides who've moved on to other things.
Tingana's walking right in front of my vehicle.
These guys are the sausage tree pride.
Classic stories and wonderful moments. Wild Earth Explorers, wilder together.
Would you like to know the difference between a male and female wildebeest? You can ask me questions like this in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive here in the heart of Africa. Join me on SafariLIVE and connect with nature.
The Explorer Chat is a magnificent way to make new friends who share your interest in nature. As an explorer, you'll also get your very own dashboard and personalized profile, plus the ability to save and share your favorite wildlife incidents with our brand new Safari Screenshots feature. Share sightings, swap stories, and experience nature together with people who feel the same pull to the wild as you do. Wild Earth Explorers, wilder together.
Hi there, my name is Kerry Dupree, wildlife presenter and guide. What I love the most about guiding is being able to share my love for wildlife and nature with my guests. Very exciting to find those cheetah boys on a kill. Being passionate about your job makes the world of a difference, because your guide definitely sets the tone of every adventure.
Founded. Kudus are generally pretty reliable, so what I mean by that is that the fact that they didn't alarm, they were looking nervous, maybe reacting to the sound of the impalas alarming, but not actually alarming themselves, because maybe they didn't see whatever the impalas were alarming at. So we're a little bit unsure at this stage, but it still is exciting. Still is exciting. And we're just going to check carefully here. Just going to check carefully and see, because you never know. I mean, a leopard or even a lion in this grass laying down, if it goes low down to stalk something, it's just impossible to see unless it's moving or the grass is short in a particular spot. But we're definitely giving it our best shot, everyone. I would love to find you all a cat. And it's just, you know that something's going on. Where is it? What is it? Maybe it'll only reveal itself later, but we are going to check just to make sure. And there's a few more roads to check, so we will do that.
Good evening, everyone. It's impossible to please get a status update. In the north, it's pretty quiet.
Okay, nothing yet. Looks like these roads were scraped today, so this afternoon, so it's looking very fresh. If there's any tracks, it'll be very clear. The one thing that's quite nice, when road maintenance is done, it makes it very easy to spot something potentially. Oh, there is a nyala. Okay, well, while we keep checking in the area, let's send you over to Imara, who is continuing her bit of a birding afternoon.
Definitely is birding. I didn't plan to do some birding today, but this area just seems to be giving and giving. And I think all the birds do like this location. One, being next to water, water being, life. Everything just thrives around water. You have endless source of food and these trees and a lot of places to take cover and, even raise some young ones. So right there we do have a white-backed vulture. And right there in the back, I think it is its nest. You can even see a lot of the poop on that branch, meaning it does sit there a lot. I haven't seen any other white-backed vulture, so I don't know if it is the only one right now. It does look very, very used, at least. And the females usually lay a single egg, not Ed. Single egg, unless she wants to name her child Ed. But yes, a single egg per breeding cycle. And incubation is actually a bit longer than most birds, about 56 days. The African fish goes, I think, about 30, 40 days. And even the Marshall eagle is around the same time, about a month plus. But this guy, that's pretty long. Look at that, doing some preening. So I am curious if there's any life right now in that nest. But right now, if there is, you'd be seeing a bit more activity. Maybe one of the vultures would be incubating. Wildlife lady, white, it looks so beautiful. People think that they look ugly, but the ugliness of people, how they think of it, is because of the lack of feathers on the head. But that is actually a very, very smart way for our vultures. A lot of them, you'll see that they don't have a lot of feathers on the head, and that's due to these guys are very good at cleaning up any carcass in the area. And if they do, you're putting your head into meat or the carcass, and you don't want any of the remainings to stick on your feathers on top of your head. How are you going to clean off? So it's best for them to be bald, so it's easier for them to stay clean. And that's usually the reason why. So when we look at them, you know that they play such a big role in keeping the environment clean as they clean up the scraps from our other carnivores who are not able to finish the small pieces. And they do bring a lot of balance to the environment. So I do find them quite attractive. And I'm just happy to see that this nest is being used a lot because of that branch. It's a very good indicator that they do sit right there quite often. As you can see, the poop is very, very there. And I think this tree is a green heart tree, and it's a pretty old one too. The trees here are very old and they just look just amazing. And sometimes when the white poop, it's similar to how our marabou stock do it. As you see, their legs are usually white, but it's white due to their poop. And it's kind of like an inbuilt air conditioning. So it's kind of like, poop on your legs, and it even helps with evaporating and cooling. But also the white kind of just reflects that light. Pam, thank you so much. I agree with you. They're all beautiful. They all have a big role to play in how they've evolved. Again, with the vultures, no feathers on the head, does mean it's very clean. Why would the vulture want to always have pieces of rotting meat on its head? You just gotta opt for not having hair. So if some of you are kind of having short hair out there, the vultures are very, very nice to look at also. Kind of inspiration. I also did cut my hair one time. This was 4 years ago, and I just had very short buzz cut. And it was actually really nice. Oh, some preening going on. Helen, yes, there is. We do have, I think it's called, is it the Mara Predator? It's Mara Predator, yes, that's the one. This Mara Predator project here in the Masai Mara. and they do really look after and document, and also even sharing awareness about how these birds play a really big role in the environment. So from local communities, everyone will get to know, because sometimes there's so many different factors to why even people would target some specific animals. So it's a silly one to say, but even with omens, some people believe in oh, this bird should be killed because it's a bad omen. But honestly, that's the same bird that's keeping the whole environment clean. And also sometimes when you have electricity posts and different structures and they land on them. So this project and all these conservation efforts, they do play a big role in both sides, educating them about the animals that you live next to, and also the benefits of having them around and the beauty. Because a lot of printing going on, which is great, keeping it safe and clean. And since we're even talking about conservation efforts, let's look at a highlight of when Amy was also taking part in some conservation efforts in South Africa. Let's take a look.
On the 8th of May, tragedy struck the Mahlangeni section of the Kruger National Park. It was discovered that there had been a mass vulture poisoning, and over 100 birds were found dead and many others fighting for survival.
So in this instance, it was one of the most severe wildlife poisoning events we've seen for quite a long time, especially in eastern South Africa. So for this specific incident, an elephant carcass was actually poisoned and left up in the northeastern section of Mahlangeni in the Kruger National Park. Obviously, with it being there for a couple of days, the number of birds that arrived on this carcass was catastrophic, the numbers that were affected.
When you are responding to a poison event like that, that's actually the worst part. You know that every minute counts, and we often have hundreds of kilometers to drive to get to them. And when we got to the field as close as we could, which was still 3 kilometers away from the birds, we set up the vulture ambulance, and then we headed in to get to the site. And it was exactly what you'd expect, carnage. It's probably one of the worst things I've seen.
Guys, we gotta work with speed, yeah.
But why do events like this take place? There are many reasons why vultures are poisoned. One being that their body parts are harvested for the illegal wildlife trade and traditional medicine markets. Another is that poachers are increasingly using this as a ploy to conceal their illegal activities. Vultures are killed in an area, which means that rangers are not alerted to the presence of poaching sites by circling birds.
So in terms of the impact on the population as a whole, so the Kruger National Park sustains in the region of 950 to 1,050 pairs of whiteback vultures. Now, when we work on population levels for all of these vulture species, we look at breeding populations. So it is very focused on adults, whereas an incident like this would have also affected a large number of juvenile birds. But yeah, it's not unrealistic to assume that it's about 5% of the population was affected in one go, quite comfortably.
But not all hope was lost, thanks to the swift and immediate action taken by the Sandparks Rangers, the Endangered Wildlife Trust, and many others. Over 80 birds managed to survive and were saved, sent right here to the Moholoholo Rehabilitation Center for further treatment. We are honored to be here today and witness the release of about 20 birds that are ready to head back out into the wild where they belong.
They get their rings put on, so that if anybody sees them in the future again, or God forbid they get found at another incident or somewhere else, we can track who that bird is. And then some of the birds also get fitted with a tracker that allows us to keep an eye on their movements, and they can then give us a lot of really useful information as well. We try and only do older birds with that. They're a bit more reliable with where they're moving around, and that then sits on them indefinitely. It's been tried and tested, it's super safe for them, there's no issues.
we're very fortunate in terms of the workload having been split amongst a lot of people on the day, and a very efficient plan being put in place. So although the day was quite hectic and the work has not really stopped in terms of the rehab of those animals, it does show what can be done if multiple organizations collaborate and just work in an efficient and effective way. So yes, it's a very sad day in many ways for vulture conservation, but also quite an encouraging day to look at what the possibilities are as this sort of work expands.
Two, one, and go.
What an amazing feeling to see these birds released. It is something that brings a lot of joy to a lot of people. There are so many passionate people here who have dedicated so much time to getting these birds healthy again. And what a rewarding feeling for them and even me to just watch this whole process unfold and to know those birds are flying free again.
Well, that was definitely something I will never forget. I mean, that moment, it was actually quite emotional, everyone, to go through that story, to see the dedication of the team on the ground with those vultures. It was so inspiring. And then to be there to witness the release of the first ones when they were ready, it was quite amazing. Now, we have stopped at a termite mound just to listen out, but also because we have some dwarf mongoose, and who doesn't love to see a dwarf mongoose? They are so much fun, and there's a whole business of them that are hanging around this termite mound. They've been up and down and running on the road and grooming each other. I can hear the tripping of them on my left hand side. Oh, they've all gone up onto, just to the left-hand side, they're all on this log here. Okay. Oh, beautiful. Well, they just moved over to that log, but in the meantime, let's send you over to Imara with a stunning scene.
This is now the bird we came here to see. It wasn't in the area when we were driving. We did hear them in the far distance. I think they're on the other side of the marsh area towards now Mara River. And we are on the edge of the marsh. And I think the birds have just been blessing us today with all these amazing, amazing sightings. Honestly, I love this bird so much. I love all of them. But why this one is because their call is just so amazing. And hopefully it will be able to do one later on because it's all alone. And when they're communicating with one another, they do it. Well, they do call out to each other. So I am very hoping much so that the other partner will come and say hello. But look at that frame. Look at the light. Just the beauty of this bird alone. Amazing. And now I can even give a good example. So we did get to see our southern ground hornbills, and the question asked if they are raptors. So a good example now is look at that beak of the African fish eagle, which is a raptor. It's able to actually pick at meat because now the hornbill is very much straight, almost like a hammer. Theirs goes straight down, but these guys are able to like dig in and kind of pick it up. But not only that, also their claws Now, southern ground hornbills, their feet are not really for grabbing any prey if they're flying, and they don't swoop down to catch any prey because, yes, they are apex predators. They do eat all the types of animals similar to a lot of the raptors. But when you look at the beak and the talons, the claws, it is very different, and also their hunting tactics. These guys are usually from the sky, swoop down. And of course, our African fish eagle with the name fish in it, they are very good at catching fish that come and swim above the water. And I don't know if it is tilapia, but there's a fish that actually likes to swim on the top layer of the water because it's much warmer. And the African fish eagle are very good at catching them, again, because they'll see it much easier. It's easier for them to swoop them and swat. So I do think it is tilapia. I'll check that out for you guys. But there are fish that do prefer to be on the top layer of the water. Again, the temperature is much warmer. Steve D, very majestic. Beautiful sound. That's why I'm hoping like later on maybe it will. If it doesn't, it's okay. We got to hear it yesterday. And it was quite perfect just to hear them calling out. Known as a voice of Africa. It's just something magical about them. But I think we have so many birds that could be considered the voice of Africa. We do have the Hadada ibis, who are the loudest birds. They're very common even in Nairobi. So in the cities, you do hear them. Out here, I do get to hear them, but not as often in the city. And I would like to know why. And also, even in the morning, we have the rufous lark. And we have, of course, the redneck's profile. Rufous-naped lark, there we go, full name. Oh, and go. And since now I'm talking about sounds of birds, the one who we're looking at, the African fish eagle, let's hear a nice highlight. Well, we're going to see the highlight, but the highlight also has the voice of Africa. Let's go check it out and hear how it sounds. Well, guys, oh, look at that. That was great. Oh, perfect timing. Oh, that was great. Honestly amazing just hearing them. And that time it was actually, I don't know if you can see, there's a tree at the right back over there. Is very skinny. That's the tree that they were. Let's see if we'll find them, because they're the ones who actually prompted us to come back here. The calling was just amazing, and I do highly suspect maybe there is a nest that might be in this area. And it's very nice and quiet, and the marsh area does have water bodies where the fish can be. And there is our African fish eagle again. Yeah, I'm curious where the partner is, but don't worry, they're very good at calling out to each other, a nice duet call. And I think it is looking down in that water area. It does take some time, who knows? Still gonna drive around, but I will keep our bird in view and see if it does catch anything. Lenny, oh, good question. I actually don't know. I'd like to find that out. Well, he's learning something new. You can see where it's like sitting. It's on top of like a marsh area. Maybe it is looking down to get some food. Yeah, it's definitely looking down. I hope you do get to catch something. So it looks like with the bird's digestive system, the crop, yes, an expanded muscular pouch. Okay, now that makes more sense. So hopefully even the African fish eagle will get to have that in use. And this area you can even find a lot of mudfish, catfish. Yeah, it's really looking down at that watering area, because the marsh, you're seeing reeds, but there is water for sure. In the background you can hear a dove. Oh, this area is just filled with birds. Amazing. And we might even try to catch up with some ellies, hear their stories for today again. as I see others coming in back into the marsh. And maybe this is a male. The male does a lot of hunting for the female if she is incubating an egg. And she is much, much bigger. Better to protect the young one from any other type of predator bird. As you saw earlier on, how even the spur-wing lapwing and the crown lapwing, because there are two lapwings actually in the area, and even the lilac-breasted rollers, how they were mobbing the southern ground hornbills. So every bird is protecting their young ones and their territory and their space. So even with the African fish eagle, the female being bigger, she does play a big role in looking intimidating, taking a lot of space in that nest, making sure that no other bird comes near her and her young ones. And the male being lighter and more swift, he's able to catch food much easier and faster for her. It's a beautiful area. She's right, well, I think it's a he. He's right on that side because they look very, very similar. Again, it's just about size. When you see them next to each other, you're able to tell if it's a male or female. And now we're just going to look up ahead. Julie B, I know, me too. You just want to keep quiet and just like listen to them, honestly. So, who knows, maybe the mate will come soon and we'll hear another call today. And these are the Ellies who are now walking into the marsh area from the other side. The marsh area keeps on giving. I love it. Even yesterday we got to see some reed bucks. Actually, there were two of them. I wonder if they're in the same location. I'll still try that section. And when you go out without a plan, that's when nature actually provides for you the sightings that were needed to be seen that day. And if any of you do love Ellies, here are some Ellies for you, some young ones. And it always makes me happy seeing the young ones with the older elephants. Means that there's a lot of population coming back for them, increasing, and it's always great. It does take a long time, as for elephant it is quality over quantity. And my example usually is like impalas give birth to so many babies at the same time, which is a lot of quantity. So for them, it's they want to make sure that all their babies get to kind of at least one of them or a few of them get to survive. And wild dogs are very good at catching even impalas. And guess who has some wild dogs? Eric. Let's go see some wild dogs with Eric.
My goodness, ladies and gentlemen, have a listen to this. Can't see it very much, but you can definitely hear it. Wow. Wow. Bit of excitement here from our doggy dogs. And they were sort of, I don't know what it was. They were all lying in the grass and they came running across to the adults, or it's mostly all pups that came running across to obviously two adults and turned into a rather festive sighting. Trying to figure out what has happened here. When we saw the first one, it was just moving around. So this is very cool. Anyway, good to be back with our wild dogs again. Obviously, they are doing what the wild dogs do best, hiding themselves within the thicket. Maybe they come sit out in the sun here. Come warm up here. I think most of you look like you've been hiding in the shade. This is very cool. Oh, peace to you indeed. This is very, very cool. Very cool. We're going to try and wrap around a little bit and see if we can't get ourselves into a better position here where we can see our dogs a little bit more. Looks like everything's starting to calm down. Some of them are starting to lie down. I wonder what the plan is. I see bellies are somewhat full. Would have been nice to know what the bellies look like not yesterday, day before yesterday, because then we could have known who did it, but we couldn't really see much of what's going on. In fact, no, that was the day before that actually that we saw them. How's here? Oh. Hello doggies! How's everyone doing? They were looking like they've just woken up from some sleep. Oh, little sick doggy. Are you alright, doggo? Oopsie daisy. Are you throwing up? What's wrong with you? Did you eat something you're not? No! Oh! That is now not on. Don't roll in it. What? Who would have thought that dogs could create their own perfume? Are you going again? Are you doing it again? I don't think this dog is a happy dog. But please don't roll in it again. That's quite nasty. Now someone else is going to roll in yours. Oh, please don't. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, no. I have never seen this behavior before, ever. That. Are you Right, just when you think you've seen it all. Wild dogs change your perspective. Oh my goodness. What have we just witnessed? Well, I suppose let's put it out there. Has anyone else seen this type of behavior from wild dogs, or from any predator for that matter, actually? No. Vomiting and then rolling in it, or watching someone else vomit and then going and rolling in that, because I haven't. It's all very much new behavior for me. I can't believe it. I suppose, they're gonna mask their scent. I mean, wild dogs don't really smell the best, especially these ones. They have a particular smell, which is something that actually helps us when looking for them. I can't actually smell them now, but
can you hear that sound? The way it grows, the way it calls you to come alive. Can you feel the rhythm? The way it beats with the land? Do you feel alive again? Or maybe you never left. You don't just visit the wild, you return to it.
Hello, my name is Eric Barnard, a Wild Earth presenter and private guide. My favorite animal is an elephant. When they get close to the vehicle, there's always some form of conversation. Good evening. How do you do? I think the most important one is the vibe. If there's a good vibe, everyone's having fun. Look at them, look at them. I think those are aspects that really do make a great safari.
The Explorer Chat is a magnificent way to make new friends who share your interest in nature. As an explorer, you'll also get your very own dashboard and personalized profile, plus the ability to save and share your favorite wildlife incidents with our brand new Safari Screenshots feature. Share sightings, swap stories, and experience nature together with people who feel the same pull to the wild as you do. Wild Earth Explorers, wilder together. We know that adverts pay our bills, but you don't necessarily like them. So, this is a fantastic way to stop being interrupted. Sign up today and you'll get instant access to wildlife. 24/7, ad-free, live and on demand. No pesky commercials, no rude interruptions, just wild Africa exactly as it unfolds. Wild Earth Explorers, wilder together.
Bigger, but very clear here. 1, 2, 3, 4 toes. And then the thing that we notice with hyena tracks, which is quite distinct, is the fact that there are claw marks, and you can see there's a little bit of an impression over there, imprint of where the claw might have landed, and each of the toes has a little bit of a point where those claws would have been. And then of course the back pad, which unlike a leopard, which would have sort of a more straight and distinctive third lobe in the center rather than just the 2 here that we see with this hyena. And also hyenas are something that wouldn't be surprised following around wild dogs. Now in Mbula, we only see the brown hyena there. So I'm not actually sure if there's that connection in behavior like there is with the spotted hyenas and the wild dogs out here. Almost every time I've seen wild dogs hunting in the Greater Kruger, they're followed by 1 or 2 spotted hyenas. It's actually the most fascinating thing to see, and also that interaction if a kill is made, to see the hyenas coming in to try and steal some. Okay, well, while we hop back on the car, let's send you over to Imara with an elephant walk by.
Guys, the marsh area keeps on giving. Look at this alley. It's amazing. They always come so close. The sun's really bright, but elephant is even brighter. Beautiful girl. She's so patient. We just parked here. They don't mind. As long as you always know your place, you know where you're supposed to be, like, it's always great. And then, guys, we have number 2 coming along. A younger one. Let's see. Young boy, young girl. Hi, sweetheart. Look at that. Following in mom's footsteps, mom has shown that we're very calm, and the baby is calm too. Hi, sweetheart. And that's how they usually learn. So even when you see such human interactions, like, again, you being in a stable place, you're staying still, mom will pass by, shows the baby that you're all okay, and I don't mind the vehicle, you're okay with it, and they just pass by. If they wanted to let you know that they have a problem, trust me, she would have. But the elephants here in the Masai Mara are so gentle. And also, the way they're being protected, a lot of the times they do know that we are on their side. And I do just love having such moments with Ellies. And just, they're bigger than life, honestly. You just get to appreciate it so much. You get to look at them in such a different light. You literally have the power to uproot and push trees, and still, with all that power, they just do their own thing. They focus on themselves, and I think we always learn something new from them. Again, I like to think of these guys as one of the biggest teachers, pun intended, big, but they are just so amazing. Even those 2 youngsters are learning a lot from all the other elephants. Look at them just there, scratching their feet on the stump. Janine, it was amazing. Being in real life, it's great. And if you guys want to come and experience this, of course, visit Wild Earth Travel. I'd love to bring you out here, get to see them, talk about them, even just sit in silence with them. And I'll actually let you guys just enjoy the sounds of the marsh right now. this is their home, and it's always great just to come and watch them do their thing, young ones learning. You can see how some of them have even submerged themselves in some water, and it is great. And guys, I'm not done yet with them. I'm going to show you a bit more of the Ellies, but in the meantime, I'm going to go back to the wild dogs, who I wish I would see them in real life. Eric is so lucky. Let's go check out on some wild dogs.
Seems like our wild dogs have potentially turned into some browsers. Got a whole group of them here that have just been munching on what looks like magic guarri. The magic guarri is on fruiting at the moment. They definitely have leaves. It's an evergreen tree, so it's a bush that never kind of they never lose their leaves. Now, this would serve the same purpose as what grass would. We'll see lions do it every now and then, and dogs especially. Don't be behaving like a goat. Careful, little dog. And it does also help with also being sick. They're from the UK. It seems like they're all having the best Sunday afternoon. Yeah, pretty shocked at what we've seen. Goodness. But very cool. I mean, cool behavior. It's nice to see them kind of very chilled like this, and a little bit of like a better view than what we had the other day. Of them kind of relaxing. There's a bit more they're a bit more active than what they were, but most of them are still lying down. They've relaxed. We've got this one who's rolling around and scratching itself, and I think it's actually lying in the vomit. It's like a pig in the mud. Bless you. So what was your last meal? What did you guys have? I think out of all the predators to watch make kills, I think wild dogs are ones that you don't necessarily want to see. They disembowel they prey. No remorse. Half the time it's actually still alive. Again at the tree. Oh, Cassidy, I'd love to take the title of Dog Whisperer. I mean, this is our third sighting with them. It's actually pretty good. Was it with you that we had them at the very tail end of the kill? About maybe 4 weeks ago? 6 weeks ago? It was bad. It's interesting. So half the pack had split up, and then the other half, we'd just seen kind of just motoring, not really motoring, you know, kind of striding on one of the open plains, and they ended up going towards one of the fence lines, and we thought they were going to cut across. They ended up not, and we couldn't figure out where they went. And we took the gamble and drove along the fence line and found them on a impala. They had pretty much finished half of this impala in 10 minutes, just very, very quickly. But we're going to send you back over to Mara, see what's happening with her bed.
So I hear Eric saw the wild dogs recently, so I have a lot of hope that one day it's going to be my turn. And we are here with the African fish eagle, the same one actually. And look at that posture. And it's looking straight down. And it's looking around still, but why I'm thinking something could happen, again, nature is unpredictable, nature at its own timing. But if you look below, thank you, Big James, this is the marsh, part of the marsh, and we had some elephants literally in that water. Like, it has a lot of floating aquatic plants, and there's some deep sections, and fish, I'm sure, is around this area. And what happens is a lot of animals take advantage of other animals' movements. So, for example, elephants walk through grass, cattle egrets take insects from the grass. Elephant moves through reeds and such type of water. African fish eagle takes advantage of any type of fish that is being disturbed by the elephant's movements, and it gives the African fish eagle a really good opportunity to see and kind of catch any type of fish that got disturbed by the elephants moving through. So each animal does find a way to benefit from one another. It's actually quite amazing. It's literally like a business deal without the business part. You move, I'll take advantage of the movements you have done, and so on and so forth. But look how it's standing. Well, yeah, it's actually kind of standing, perched on the branch. Daniel, ooh, what a question. I have not seen that. Majority of the time it is fish. That's why they have the name fish eagle in them. But I wouldn't be shocked if sometimes maybe a young one, but they're not like the martial eagle martial eagle, you don't want to play with those guys. They are vicious in the sense of, I've seen them attack guinea fowls, baby warthogs. They are very good at that. But the African fish eagle, more of the diet is the fish. But again, I can't rule anything out because a lot of bizarre things happen in nature where it is very unpredictable. It's even like the elephant I saw in Amboseli. Keep on talking about it. I'll try to find out image if I do have it. The tusk was actually going the opposite direction from the other one, and they're both long. So I don't know how that happened. But again, it is not all the time textbook answers. It can be quite unpredictable. I'm going to look through my binos and see how the head movement is with our eagle. It does look like it wants to dive. But if not, honestly, I'm always happy just to observe and see what happens next. And that's when nature actually kind of blesses you with what you're looking for. If you guys ever heard of go with the flow, I think nature is the best way or best place to actually practice that. Come out on the game drive, hope that you get to see, like for example, I hope I get to see a bit of action, and then let it go. Don't think about seeing the action anymore. Just be in the present moment. Admire all the tiny animals, from the insects to the sounds, to the big animals, to the trees. And good things usually do happen. Even that frame just hiding in the shadow of the trees. Quite beautiful. And guys, can you hear the surroundings? There's a lot of happy frogs in there. Even the ellies are happy. Everyone is happy today. It's a good afternoon drive. And some other insects too. Come on, fish eagle. Sarah, ooh, great observation. I don't have a defined answer for it because I would have to have been here for a very, very long time. I'm talking about hundreds of years. But with how it's looking, I am highly suspecting this area did have a lot more trees. And of course, you do have trees that get older and they just kind of die out and they dry up. They stay still like that. You can see some of them standing, some of them are fallen. And I think they are from the same species. and also being around the marsh area, sometimes it does lead to some trees rotting. If you look at acacia trees, the yellowback acacia trees, they do like swampy areas and areas where you'll find a lot of mosquitoes, by the way. So if you ever see a lot of yellowback acacia, hope you have your mosquito repellent. But here, like again with a marshy type of area, those trees usually even just kind of dry, like not drying up, but kind of rot away. And it is a nice cycle for trees too. And I'm sure these trees are very old. Some of these trees take hundreds of years just to get to the size they are right now. And of course with the occasional elephants, because elephants do like to visit this place. Who knows, maybe a few trees have been pushed down by ellies. So the environment always has different answers. It could have been, again, from the environment itself. Maybe there's a time when there's a bit of less water in the marsh. Maybe there was even a sickness with the trees, because even trees get sick. And also elephants. Did some elephants push it down? And Big James and I were looking at one tree actually. It was in the forest area next to the Mar River. All of the trees are green, but that's the only one that looks kind of dried up. And we asked each other, was this tree struck by lightning? Which does happen, because it looked like it was burnt on the top part. And we're like, yeah, it could have been. So even that's another thing to consider. Nature, very unpredictable, has different answers, and it is always great just to kind of guess and kind of have a mystery to solve. African Fish Eagle, thank you so much. Even though you didn't catch something at the moment, I know you will later on. That's okay. Thank you. I'm gonna send you guys back to the wild dogs and Eric. Oh, so lucky to have the wild dogs. Let's go see what they're doing now.
Roads. And before they crossed over the road, they stood on the road. They've now dropped their nice, warm excrement on the road for people to drive on. I thought it was mighty cheeky of them. But now they look like they're moving at quite a speed. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to try and wrap around and see maybe if we can't get them from the other side. They still seem to be kind of taking their time though about going. Sort of playing as they go as well. But yeah, there's not really much of the sighting here left. Let's wrap around, see what we can find on the other side. It's not too far for us to go. Drive slowly here and see if maybe gotta look out for the rocks. This is almost exactly where this spiked. It's exactly where the elephants crossed over last time. So I have a sort of pretty good idea of where to go from here. And hopefully they'll come out where I think they're gonna come out. Cross fingers. Ooh, warthogs, you lucky, you lucky. You're here and not there. Two warthogs on the side of the road here. I'm sure they heard the dogs, but yeah, not an ideal spot to be for a warthog. Colors, they can get quite big, you know, they can get up to, you know, sizes of, you know, up to 40 dogs potentially. This is a small pack. There's about 13 of them, and you know, those big packs, it takes a lot of feeding to keep them happy, to keep all those members happy as well. So zebra here. Where are the rocks? So here are the big trees, and I remember seeing almost in front of them. So look carefully here. What we can also do is just sit and listen. let's just sit and listen here, because one never knows what one might hear. But we're going to send you over to Amy while we wait for our dogs.
Well, it is exciting, everyone. We've just heard that there are some wild dogs, not in an area that we can get to so at the moment, but they are heading west, which is in our direction. So what I'm doing is I'm just heading to the boundary road where they might, if they keep coming this way, then we'll hopefully get a view of them. We'll see. We'll see. They can change direction like this, but our best bet is to head at least as far east as we can, so that when they come from the east heading west, that we're in the right spot to potentially see them. Mpo and I said it would be awesome to see some wild dogs before my stint ends, and maybe it is exciting, Nara, you know, there's no guarantees. So, like I say, they're not in an area we can get to right now, but they are moving this way in a westerly direction. So, we'll just get ourselves at least looking around and doing our drive in the area where they might pop out. So I'm just listening for updates, because that's the only way we're going to know if they are, if they've crossed over into an area where we can go. So yeah, quite exciting. As soon as we heard it, Mpo and I looked at each other and I thought, yeah, look at that. I feel like even if we don't see them, just the excitement of knowing that they were around this afternoon is pretty fantastic.
Rowan, we're coming up to the crest. So
okay, we are going to send you over now to someone else while we make our way towards these wild dogs.
We just wanted to show you guys this beautiful frame. Look at that. You have the moon right above this back. I think this is a white-back vulture. Even the golden light is playing tricks on me. And just look at that whole magic. Is it going behind the cloud? Oh, it's okay, but that was quite great scene. Just wanted to show you guys the moon out during the day, and also the whole equilibrium things, like a yin-yang. The sun's still out, but even the moon is there. And I hear sometimes people consider it to be a time of balance. If you're feeling out of balance, this is a perfect time to get into balance. But that was actually quite great to see that. Thank you, Vulture, for also being our model to stay on that branch. Of all branches, you chose that one. And seems like this area is also quite popular with our vultures. Hello. Very good looking, honestly. But look at that golden light making that coat look a bit different in color. Golden hour at its peak. Right here on this green hard tree. Very old tree also, how it's looking. And he's looking around, and this guy's also good indicators of if there's any carcass around. And the last time we saw even the T-boys, that was actually Moja Moja or Tipo, and who else? Okingo, yes. They were having so actually a topi, yeah. They were having a topi, and we did see a vulture coming in. It wasn't a white-back vulture, it was a hooded vulture. But these guys should have also been on the scene because you live so close by. But seeing that they're calm, well, it's calm. I know the others are around somewhere. It is showing that the area there's no activity of any carcass. Carlos, thank you for your question. I don't have a number. I do know the numbers of our vultures need to definitely be picked up again, because sometimes you do have a lot of cases of animals being poisoned, and then of course vultures coming to clean up the carcass, they get poisoned through that poisoned meat, which is kind of sad. Not kind of sad, very sad actually.
Explorers get exclusive extras like extended safaris, private live drives, fireside chats, and the Jackie's Waterhole Camp. Your membership also unlocks early access to travel opportunities, competitions, merchandise, and prizes. So sign up today, and you could even win a luxury safari travel prize. Not bad, right? We know that adverts pay our bills, but you don't necessarily like them. So, this is a fantastic way to stop being interrupted. Sign up today and you'll get instant access to wildlife. 24/7, ad-free, live and on demand. No pesky commercials, no rude interruptions, just wild Africa exactly as it unfolds. Wild Earth Explorers, wilder together.
Egyptian vulture, but that was up north of Kenya. But that was really cool to see it here in the Masai Mara. I would like to see it, so hopefully one day it will come soon and I can see it in real life. And if you guys have never seen it, don't worry, we got your back. We have a highlight of how the palm nut vulture was spotted here in the Masai Mara, and you can take a look and you can compare it to other vultures. Looks like the light's coming back. I want to stick here a little bit longer.
I haven't seen one this close, because normally the moment we get close to them, they'll either take off and go perch on trees. But this particular one is giving us some very, very good, company. She doesn't seem skittish, not very sure whatever she could be feeding on where she is. I don't want to think it should be a palm nut vulture, because I've not seen palm nut vultures for a long time. Could be an Egyptian vulture, or also possibly it could be a palm nut vulture. What this palm nut vulture could be doing here, I also at one point thought of it, and I was like, palm nut vulture? Maybe yes, maybe no.
How bizarre looking is that vulture? Honestly, I like to see them, and it's a good comparison getting to see our vulture right here on the frame too. This place is so relaxing. I told Big James we should be coming here more often. Even just come. I think next time I'll be carrying like some paint And in between, I'll be doing some quick paints as we just enjoy the environment. Our vulture is looking so pretty. And back to Eric with his lucky wild dogs. Let's see if there's any update on his side.
As of now, no sign of the doggy dogs are in here somewhere. I'm gonna carry on going, maybe see if there's another sort of like open patch where we can have a little look and see. Dogs, why do you do this? I suspect they walked into the block and just sat down. And they were making quite a bit of noise too, so we should actually hear them as well. Dogman Lover. Again, another title I would love. Dr. Doolittle. If only I could understand what the animals are saying, that would be cool, you know. Talk to the animals. Doggies, where are you? Oh man, we're just getting to know each other. I'll do another circle around. Maybe they decided to go back closer to that road. Who knows? We shall see. We shall see. So it's a very, very thick block here. Fairly long grass, and also lots of trees. It does make it a little bit harder. But you know, dogs can choose to go whichever direction. You know, they could have gone pretty dead east from us, or they could have gone north, south, and we wouldn't really know. We're sort of sitting northwest of pretty much where they were, and that's the direction that they were going. All the choices for them. We're going to send you over to Amy with some Inyala while we try and relocate our dogs.
Yeah, wow, look at these boys. They are so beautiful with the sun behind them. And the wild dogs are still around to our east, and at the moment are just hanging out in one spot. So we continue with our drive. We're just closer by in case they come in this direction. But wow, this is a beautiful, beautiful Inyala. And there's some oxpeckers there on his back, picking away. You can see how it's listening, not actually to me, its ears were looking behind us. Beautiful. Okay, it is slowly moving behind here. Sonia, so when it comes to those oxpeckers, they are there to basically peck off the ticks. There are other little parasites and things that they might be after, but the main thing is definitely the ticks. I'm just going to see if we can get a view of this one here as it walks off. But they are moving away from us, everyone, so I don't think we'll have a great view of them for much longer. But yeah, that's their primary function, really. Steve D, I agree. They really are. I think nyalas are so impressive. I mean, a kudu bull is also very impressive, but there's something about the sort of, I guess, the shagginess of the coat of the nyala that is really beautiful. Okay, I think they're disappearing now, so we are going to continue down the road and see what else we can find. Okay. Still no word of them heading towards where we are at the moment. But I could sense the excitement in the vehicles that found them and then also let others know. And it's always something, because there's, you know, we don't see wild dogs all the time. So it's definitely something that everyone gets excited about, wants to share in. And I think while we're in this area, we're probably going to head towards Jackie's and just check the waterhole there. Yeah, Leanne, I'm thinking now, for the most part, I think yes, but there might be variation. I know they all have that sort of white by the eyes, which the kudu also has. And I'm just thinking if there is anything. I know that there are those dots.
Are you guys going towards the solar panels of Jacobin side or to the solar panels of Coral?
Sorry, I'm just listening here. Okay, so they've gone now back towards the east, which is away from us, those dogs. But they move quickly, so I definitely still want to hang around the area just in case they do come this way. And the fact that you already had wild dogs this afternoon with Eric is just amazing. And in fact, this week, they've been popping up quite a lot for Eric. He must be so happy about that, because you don't always see them in Mabula. Sometimes you can easily go a whole stint there with not seeing them, and they've really been spoiling him and Luanda on that side. Okay, speaking of Eric, let's send you over to him now and find out how he's been feeling about all his wild dog sightings.
What? So we are officially stepping down from the wild dog hunt. It seems I don't know, they're in this block. We've done circles around the block and they don't seem to be coming out anymore. So, well, we decided we're going to see what else there is around here in Mabula. But wow, what a lovely, lovely sighting. Good to see them. Ooh, we have some impalas. This looks like some nice lighting for these impies. How's this? Good here? Now stay there. Don't run. Don't go too far, too quickly. Oh, look at that. There's a young male there. A couple of, well, obviously mostly all females. This is the breeding herd. But a young male born this year, definitely. And wow. Golden light here. A couple of these young males. There's the big boy himself. He doesn't actually look like a pretty old established male. I'd say he's about 3 years old, maybe 4 years old max, and he's already in charge of this harem. I don't see any other big males around here, so goodness, well, good on him, because obviously to to be where he is, he's got to compete. Big competition. Well, there goes our African noises. Good afternoon to you too. Oh, wow, very, very nice. Very, very nice. Quite a few impala. It's about maybe 20 to 30 of them here. Oh, about 30 of them altogether. Mostly all females. Yeah, Carlos, that's a very bold statement. It's a very, very, very bold statement. As much as I'd love to be, there are definitely some presenters that are definitely above me for the running of the goats of SafariLIVE. And they're the last, oh no, not the last one, still quite a couple of behind the bush there. This is a herd of impala that can be seen here pretty often as well. And they're usually not so calm and docile. They generally tend to run away quite quickly, especially from the side of the road where we had them. But obviously they are moving, and looks like they're moving towards the thicket area as well. Be indeed some very, very stunning winter colors here. Beautiful golden hour. And oh, this is basically us before the sun disappears. I can see the shadow of the mountain creeping ever so closer. Yes, hello madam. Got a big belly, you madam. Are you pregnant? You must be. Only a few months now. I'd say, what are we now? Maybe going into August pretty soon. September, October, November. Give it maybe 2 or 3 months. 2 or 3 months, and you will obviously then be giving birth. And then that belly will disappear. But for now, you'll start carrying that belly. I can't wait for actually the small impalas. They are so cute. They are so very cute. They look like small Great Dane puppies. And they get so excited sometimes, they spring around like little bunnies. Young boy there. Oh, is that a yawn? Oh my goodness, I saw that. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. But let us move on. Let us move on. I heard whispers that the wild dogs are coming this way apparently. So we'll sit here on the open plains and see what happens. All I heard was Kivitz Plains, and this is Kivitz Plains. Well, this is the bottom end of Kivitz Plains. Who knows? Who knows? We might get lucky here again. Maybe they're following us around. Who knows? But at the same time, we don't want to move too far from the impala, because if they're coming this way, they might go after an impala. Lots to happen, lots could happen. The anticipation is real. There's also, what is it, a couple of animals up there as well. We are going to send you to Imara with another hornbill.
Oh, with the impalas, always tricky to choose because they're always so pretty to watch. And also these guys too, we've caught up with them again. They actually crossed all the way from the marsh as we were driving out, and they are still doing a little bit of their, let me say, mini hunts. And look at that beak, very sharp. And they tend to be active a lot of the time, even during this time. You do see them walking around during the day. I hear them a lot in the morning, actually. They go like woo, woo. So it's a very similar sound, a bit more deeper bass, and hopefully one day I'll get to see them when they actually do that sound, because I've never seen that, but one day hopefully. But look how striking their red color is. Oh, I love these birds a lot, and I know there's a lot of awareness going around for them because they are quite beautiful and very unique. Sometimes they remind me of a mix between a turkey, a crow, and what else? A chicken. I know it's a weird combination, but I kind of see it when I think about all those birds together. But they're very quite unique and very big, honestly. If they were put here in the car, in the front seat, they would actually be quite tall. And it seems they're getting quite successful with what they are getting right now. Usually midday is, a lot of resting hours for a lot of animals, and that's why I'm seeing them being more active around these hours. It's much cooler, and you can imagine having such deep black feathers. It does get very hot when they're able to absorb all that hot, all the heat. Sarah, I hope so too. That's always hopeful, and I always see them in the morning. So I don't know, maybe one time we'll find them early in the morning, and might even see them actually calling out. And again, the sound is very hoo hoo hoo. I think that's my best attempt at it. And now being late afternoon is a lot of foraging. Again, very cool. And then as its sun kind of sets, they'll kind of fly back into the forest area or whatever area they are in with the trees, the canopies. And they'll sleep in whatever large tree they happen to find as the daylight ends. And this is nice for us to see as the light goes down. Thank you so much, Hornbills. We started off almost with you guys and kind of ending with you too. Kind of poetic. And meantime, we're going to send you guys to a virtual safari, something memorable, something beautiful on our continent. Let's go see the safari destination.
We are at Tinga Camp at the moment, and just downstream on the dry riverbed in front of the camp, we noticed yesterday, we had a great time at the little bit of water that's in front of camp, and we noticed this whole colony of northern carmine bee-eaters that have just started excavating their breeding colony that you see in the riverbank behind me here. So we're here this morning. We're just going to sit down quietly because we don't want to disturb them too much and watch them coming in, constructing their colonies here where they bore into the riverbank. And it's an amazing thing because if you consider that the hole itself, the bird goes into the hole, has to go all the way down, turn around inside and come out the front way. So you've got a narrow tube going into the riverbank and then a big chamber at the back. So enjoy this colony of carmine bee-eaters with us. everyone. We've come down onto the Salamat River here in Zukuma National Park. This is the main kind of river that flows through through the park and a major source of water for everyone. We're here at the end of the dry season, so this is all drying off into pools. And I'm sure you've noticed in our time here in Zukuma the volume of bird life. And when you come down onto this river here, there's a number of pools like this. But the fishing birds, I can promise you won't see anything like this anywhere else. There's just hundreds of hummerkops, yellow-billed storks, marabou storks, open-billed storks, herons, egrets, all of it, all fishing and trying to catch these various types of catfish and squeakers and all different kinds of fish that you can see here. But just look behind me here. It is extraordinary of what's going on here. A jackalberry tree just on my side here, and it's just coming into fruit. So there's lots of nice birds inside there. We've seen Vio's barbet, black-breasted barbet, Bruce's green pigeon, African grey hornbill. There's lots going on up in this tree. It's a really nice little spot that we found here. Gerrit and I have just been sitting videoing all of those birds fishing and hunting down there, and then Togi noticed that there were some lions just down the river away from us. So we've just driven down the river and we found that there's a nice little pride of lions. So there's 8 lions that are sitting here. There's a couple of males and females and cubs and so on just around, but they're right close to where the herds of buffalo come in to drink. So we're going to try and sit around here and maybe we'll see some great action here, but we're just going to chill out here now and watch the lions instead. Herd of buffalo have just walked in here next in front of us here, and we're just sitting here very quietly. The wind is in a good position, so they don't know that we're here. But it's really interesting. This is the Central African savanna buffalo. And so they're like a blend between your forest buffalo that you would see like in the Congo, Gabon, and those places, the Central African rainforest area, which is actually not that far south of where we are, and your classic your East African, Southern African type buffalo. So you'll see in the colors here, you'll see a mixture of that orangey color that you would see in the forest areas and in the black. And also the horn shape is kind of a halfway between the forest buffalo, which is a very U-shaped horn, and these guys. So you don't see the big drooping horns that you would see in those like the Southern African or East African buffalo. What you see there is they're much shorter horns, and as I said, it's like a mix between the two. So this is a blend. But one of the things that also I don't understand it when it comes to the taxonomy of these things, is you can clearly see these buffalo varieties look different. But from a taxonomy perspective, they only give it one Latin name between a buffalo that occurs in Kruger National Park of South Africa to a buffalo up here and a buffalo in the Gabonese rainforest. It's all the same species, but just lots of different varieties throughout that. But from a taxonomy, it's exactly the same species.
Well, that was a beautiful virtual safari, everyone. We have the eternal flame of the Sabi Sands here to show you. This is quite a fascinating story, and I thought while we're sitting here listening out for any news of these wild dogs, which unfortunately I think have gone south, I thought I would show it to you because we have watched this entire tree slowly burn down to the ground. Oh, there's some ash moving as we speak. It was probably double the height when I arrived here 2 weeks ago. And they burnt this section. It's a fire break. They burnt this section, and this tree obviously caught flame, not seriously, but enough heat has continued down with the wind and that sort of thing to actually keep this flame burning. And it's really incredible. Oh, head to Eric.
Well, our dogs have decided they're going to come back out again and join us. They were actually chasing after some kudu. I don't know if it looked a bit like a failed hunt. They do look a little bit hungry. If they continue going further in the opposite direction to which they are going now, there were some impala and a whole lot of them. But obviously a kudu is a bigger meal, more meat for all these mouths, many mouths. Oh, very exciting. Oh, please don't go into the long thatching grass. Stay out of the grass. Out of the grass. All we can hear is just bits of grass moving. The best that we can do now is kind of look at all the grass and see if there's grass moving. You'll be able to kind of see where they're going to pop out. I think they're going to come back onto the road. Continue maybe moving sort of northwest. It was very cool though. Very, very cool. And let us reverse a little bit. Who's that walking there? There's a warthog there. Steve D indeed, return of the dogs, return of the dogs. Where we going, doggies? Where we going? We want to come with. We want to come with. Here we'll get a kind of good understanding. We want them sort of kind of heading in this direction. So hoping maybe to pop out round about there, if not somewhere around about there, in front of that vehicle. Let me just stop and listen. Oh, they're definitely still in the grass here. But at the same time, I'm hearing impala alarm calling down there, which is also leading me to worry, because this is obviously not all of them. It's definitely not all of them. It's only some of them. Ah, they're on the road here. We are on the road. Well, you'll be followed. You are followed, definitely, by someone else who's going to cross the road as well. Can't be the only ones. Now, there's that little trot that you always see them do. It's how they cover ground pretty fast and pretty efficiently. Noses on the ground, trying to obviously also relocate each other, but also smell out prey that have just also. So kudu ran across the road here. I think it was about 3 of them. It's a pretty big herd of kudu. 3 ran this way, another 3 ran behind us. Where are the rest of them? It can't just be 2 of you. Perhaps the others decided to stick within the thicket, maybe to flush out some more prey. Who knows? Dogman lover, I don't actually know if wild dogs practice cannibalism. Definitely find out. Sure, I'm not 100% sure. Ooh. Let's go a little bit closer. Let's go a little bit closer. Yeah, quite a few of them are starting to come out here now. Doggies on the road. Oh, very common. Now, if you would like to see such sightings, is Wild Earth Travel. Visit the Wild Earth Travel page, where you can book yourself a stay here, where you will be staying at the Kingfisher Villa, or you can choose to book to stay at the Kwafu Besi tented camp, which is an intimate tented camp, or intimate luxury tented camp, where you'll obviously be able to go on these drives and you'll get to see these dogs. You also get to meet the Wild Earth team that will be live here, and potentially go on a live drive with them. So visit Wild Earth Travel to find out more information about this amazing opportunity. Look at that. Isn't that cool? What? Looking at people in the vehicle. Some of them are looking behind them. The dogs are in front of you. Yeah, posing for a picture. What a cool picture that would be. You know, sitting with you on the side there, and with dogs behind you. Oh, dog is going off the road now. Oh, most of them are actually here. Stop here. One not quite ready to go off just yet. Kind of still hanging out here. Yeah, look at that. This is kind of like still deciding what they're going to do now. I think there's a little bit of disappointment because they missed the hunt. Kudu are fast, and they're also very aware of their surroundings. I think that out of all the animals to hunt, they are some of the most difficult animals to go after. But they, when you can get them, oh, very nice eating. We're going to send you over to Amy, who's at Titwa Dam. So let's see what's happening around that particular area.
We have, and oh my goodness, it is gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. Wow. We just had a hippo call. There's so many hippos in this waterhole, and we've got the buffalo weavers arriving back home there. I think there's one drongo, but there are quite a few buffalo weavers as well, of course, around the nests. And just taking a moment to catch a breath. We know that also Rulani is moving in this area, so I wanted to stop and listen. Who knows, maybe she'll come out and walk along this open area. I mean, what a view to have here. Chitwa Lodge looks out over this beautiful waterhole, and I can attest to how fantastic it is. Oh, Rachel, I think I'm most certainly at it right now. The view here over the waterhole has to be my favorite spot. I love water. I love waterholes in the bush. And it's because there's always activity. There's always something to watch. I can sit at a hide or at a bungalow in the Kruger looking out over the Sabi or the Oliphant or the Luvuvu River and just watch, where there's hippos, crocodiles, bird life. Sometimes you get lucky with a herd of elephants, or maybe even more lucky with a cat or two coming out to say hello, but there's just always something, and it's so peaceful. So yeah, I definitely think that Chitwa Dam is my favorite spot on everywhere that we drive here. That and the Mulwati drainage line, that's also, yeah, that is definitely the top two for sure.
Some rivalries don't need explaining. They're felt. They're etched into history. The All Blacks, the Springboks, head-to-head in South Africa. Join us for 2 unforgettable tests, from the fiercest rivalry in sport to luxury safari, hosted by a Springbok legend. Rugby and Safari by Wild Earth Travel. The greatest rivalry, experienced the only way it should be.
When the Mara turns green, life surges, the air hums, the earth stirs, and the wild comes alive. Here, the wonder never ends. It just changes color. Every storm, every sunrise, every sweeping vista is an expression of wild magic. Visit the Masai Mara. Experience the magic. Wild Earth Explorers, wilder together.
Hi there, my name is Kerry Dupree, wildlife presenter and guide. What I love the most about guiding is being able to share my love for wildlife and nature with my guests. Very exciting to find those cheetah boys on a kill. Being passionate about your job makes the world of a difference because your guide definitely sets the tone of every adventure.
They are hanging out here. I'm hoping we might get a yawn or two, maybe another call. I heard a little bit of noise. There is some movement. I haven't seen a baby hippo in a very long time. We've got a few youngsters here, but really, I seem to remember, I think we've definitely had sightings like that before with teeny tiny hippo babies. I think they are just the cutest. I find there's a lot of cute baby animals out there, but there's something about a little hippo face that is just too much to bear sometimes with its cuteness. They get a lot more serious as they get bigger, I would say.
So we'll be closing down for...
And you can see a bit more activity. Oh, a little yawn there. Oh, sweet. Oh, awesome. I was hoping we would hear that. That is great. And we can see that there's a lot more movement happening now, and they're getting ready to leave the water. We might not see it happen, but they do start to move out and graze. And there are so many hippo tracks in the morning. There's one actually walking quite far away. That's actually going out the water now. Oh, this one is yawning. Oh, don't know where to look, Mpo. It's difficult. But yeah, I was just saying they're getting ready to leave the water, and one's actually come out to start grazing. Okay, well, we're going to send you over to a highlight now where Mara had a little teeny tiny hippo.
Oh my gosh, guys. Look how tiny it is. This one looks very, very young. I don't know if you were born recently. It's staying close to mama. And with baby hippos, they're born in secret. So it's underwater delivery. and the baby will come up for its first breath. But this guy looks like you're used to the water, so maybe you were born this month, last month, I don't know, but you're really young, really tiny. And even sometimes when the mom has given birth to the baby, they do isolate themselves from the pod so she can strengthen her bond with the baby.
Well, there we go. A teeny tiny hippo. How cute. And yeah, we're here, and I think these hippos are going to start coming. Well, there's one already out and grazing quite far along the bank, and there's another one that I can see is getting up a little bit more. We might also see it come out. There we go. Look at that. Yes, what timing. Very cool. When we're walking around our tents, it's something that, you know, one can think, okay, you're worried about maybe leopards or lions or something like that, but actually the thing I'm most concerned about is always hippo, because we are right here by this waterhole, and hippos do move around at night. Henry, strictly speaking, no. Look, there's always that possibility. I'm definitely not going to sit here and tell you they will never browse or eat a leaf in their life. They most certainly can, if they really wanted to, or if they were maybe desperate. But generally, they will just walk further to get more grass in. They are quite strict grazers in that way. Yeah, Sandra, it is so iconic, and I don't know why, it just feels so wild to me. Gives you that feeling. Oh yeah, I'm in Africa. On safari, more specifically. There's a hippo here that seems to be, I think mom and little one might be getting up and ready. She stood up now. Jackie, so it's an interesting one. Oh, there she just sat down again. They will often use mom to help them, sort of as a point of balance, you know, to try and keep themselves, use their body to help them float up near the top. And then a lot of the time where, you know, mom might sit, it might need to stand completely. To help it, you know, stabilize. Oh, there's a nightjar. Interesting. But often the water that hippos are in is not as deep as what we think it is. It's definitely quite. Oh wow! They do get a bit playful. Sometimes we see them roll over, the feet come into the air. up. There we go. Oh, there's a little one. Oh, it's very small. Oh, that is adorable. And so that little one will basically, you know, walk on the ground, bounce up, but it won't necessarily float on top of the water. Oh, wow. Look at that yawn. And then use mom to actually keep itself up higher in the water. But they're not particularly buoyant. The baby, well, even the big ones, to be honest. Oh, okay, now we're going back in. Maybe it's a little bit chilly. I'm not quite ready. The water feels too good. I know, James, it's so cute. And even the adult hippos have the little ears. Look at those yawns. And there's a little one. You see how it goes down. Very sort of dense bodies hippos have, so they don't have a lot of air inside of them to make them very buoyant. So that little one just went straight back down again. That's why I say it'll walk or run along the bottom and then bounce up and try and use the back of another hippo to keep itself up to be able to breathe. Usually it's mom. Okay, well, from these hippos, we're going to send you over to Eric now to see what's happening in Mabula.
Well, we are now on our way down to TPA Dam. See what's around these TPA plains as well. Usually an abundance of game actually here. But we'll do a little loop here because usually there's a brown hyena hanging around. There's like a little kind of forest of silver cluster leaves and some beechwoods there as well. So we'll take a drive through there and maybe see, hopefully we can find a brown hyena. I've seen it multiple times actually here. And I know the cheetah boys came through here this morning. I don't know if they stayed here or what the plan was. Actually, there was a lot of activity around here. The cheetah boys were here. There were buffalo here as well. And then actually behind us is where the wild dogs were. And then they'd actually, I think they'd moved a little bit further down. It's a good question. Last night we saw one. Yeah, last night it was actually a brown hyena that very blonde mane going down its back, almost to just above its shoulders, the mullet area, of course, going right down its neck. Sort of the whitish sort of mane hair that I've ever seen before on a brown hyena. So that was very cool to see. But previous to that brown hyena sighting, Sure, I think at the beginning of my stint was the last time I'd seen one. Sometimes you can go days and weeks without seeing them, and then sometimes you can see them almost every day, one or two of them, especially here at Mabula. Mabula has a lot of brown hyena, and it's really cool to see. And I was really hoping that we could get one with Queen, but unfortunately no brown hyenas came towards Queen. TDP, that's a good question, a very good question. I have no idea where they went, but they went into the long grass, and then that was the last that we saw them. I think they're kind of going towards the airstrip, sort of. That was the general direction. Ooh, it's getting cold here close to the water. That was general kind of direction, but you know, those those wild dogs, they chop and change all the time, and they actually, we thought that they were going to cross straight across the road. They didn't actually do that. They ended up walking sort of along the block and then crossing further north from where we had them. So they might have actually crossed behind us, we just didn't see it, unfortunately. But luckily we did get sort of a tail end of the sighting. Now that it's starting to get a little bit dark, it is going to be a little bit harder to find them. I believe there's still people looking for them at the moment. I don't know if they have any luck, but best of luck to them. But I think today was definitely, I think, one of my favorite dog sightings. As disgusting as it was, them rolling over their vomit, and then someone else coming and rolling over and another dog's vomit. That was Caesar. Connor, I don't quite know. Do you know if there are any conservation efforts for these wild dogs, Teppo? No, not currently. But I mean, they're doing very well with their wild dogs, considering that a few months ago there were only 3 of them, and now there's 13. So very, very well. And you know, the pack can only get bigger from here. They're obviously very, very successful, and they've come a long way. Those, I mean, you wouldn't, if you looked at the wild dogs, you wouldn't think, oh, some of those are puppies. They're not. I mean, they don't look like it, but they are. Those pups were born more or less around the October time last year, and look how big they are now. Is that Carmina? No, it's not. Just getting excited. Right, we are about to get into the silver clusterleaf forest, where we may or may not find ourselves a Brian hyena. The potential is definitely here. This is the time that we find them roaming around, looking for all sorts of snacks and scraps of kills that other predators have left. Or they could mob cheetah boys off a kill. But we don't actually know where the cheetah boys are. Wildlife Lady, indeed, fantastic sunset safari, and I really hope that you enjoyed it, and we hope that everyone else also enjoyed it as well. Once again, always great to have all the questions and the comments. As you know, this is obviously an interactive show, so we'd love to obviously hear from you, and it's always good to hear your comments and what you think of the sightings that we see here, but also the questions that you give us. Some really cool questions. And well, of course, tomorrow is Monday, so there shall not be a live drive tomorrow, although there is a 1-hour show for the members, as I believe it is the last Monday of the month. So if you would like to see that 1-hour show, you've got to become a member. But then of course the show will be live again on Tuesday morning and Tuesday afternoon, and hopefully we hope to see you all there. But from us here all around South Africa, we'd like to thank you for joining us on our Sunset Safari, And we hope that everyone has had a fantastic weekend and that they have a great week moving forward. But that's it from us here now. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you all on the next Safari Live. Goodbye and good night.